Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you all, wherever it is that you are joining us from. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Track and Field Totnet in great conversation this morning for what it is that we see is happening here in track and field world. Welcome to Tokyo, everyone. And today, this morning, we have the statistician with us here live on Track and Field Tarnet. And we're excited about what it is that we saw happen this morning, that we want to just get into it and have the conversation. Odion, it is really great having you this morning. How are you doing today, Odion? Odion, can you hear me?
Well, I guess I can. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night from wherever you are watching in the world. Good to be here. Very excited morning, and bittersweet moments for some. But it is good to be here to discuss track and field at the highest level. So pleasant morning to my Jamaican family.
It's definitely good to be here, and it's definitely great to also have you here with us this morning. It's been a long time. It's been too long. I see Maurice say, good morning, Maurice. I see Maurice says, who is on the screen? Maurice, who is on the screen is right. Maurice, we miss you also, Maurice. But good morning to everyone. And also, remember that if it is that you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, go on over there and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, we are also live coming to you from our Facebook page at Track and Field Totnet there. Not the group, but also the page. So if you have also not yet follow us on the page, go right ahead and follow us on our Facebook page, because definitely we will be coming to you from the page a lot going forward. You will be seeing us doing the lives from there. But we are excited to have you here with us this morning. We are excited to have all of you who are able to be with us as we continue the journey. We know we are at the penultimate day of the Tokyo 2025 World Championship. And yes, I am repping the Jamaican color because I am proud and loud indeed. We are having a great championship in spite of the things that is happening. We see a lot of things coming out of these championships, and we are excited. So, Odion, I just want, before we get into the relay, because you know that the relay is going to be the talk of the day, the relays, but a particular relay. And before we get into it, I want us to
Ready?
not.
Stay tuned, Navaski Anderson here, getting ready for something big tomorrow. Just look out.
I just wanted to share that because that was indeed an
Ready?
exciting thing.
Stay tuned, Navaski Anderson here, getting ready for something big tomorrow. Just look out.
Indeed, getting ready for something big tomorrow. That was the national championship at the time, national trials, when he said that. And I remember exactly when he said that we are supposed to stay tuned and get ready for something big to come. Something big did not come at that point in time, but I want us to talk about something big that actually came. Navaski Anderson in the first round, in the semifinals, right? Run a new personal best, a new national record again. But before we even
National record as well.
get to that, I mean, let us just speak kudos to Tyrese Taylor of coming out, winning the national trials, becoming the national champion in his own right, and then also going to NACAC and taking the national record, moving the national record to 143.77 at that point in time. I mean, what was your take on him at that point in time? Let us start there.
Well, morning again, everybody. I think it's good. We are in a good place from a Jamaica perspective. When we look at how far and where we are coming from in the 800 meters, an event that Jamaica has not necessarily done well over the years, but what we have seen from these two gentlemen and the other 800 meter guys is some sort of dedication, more commitment, and the willingness to continue repping the black, green, and gold. And you can see that in terms of when they look at the other events and persons are stepping up and they feel a little bit that they were being left behind, and the 800-meter was not seen as an event that Jamaica would readily be excited to watch. What we have seen now is some sort of interest, and they have piqued our interest, and the individuals who have stepped up, it is impressive. I mean, it's a work in progress, and there's more work for improvement, and it is building our confidence as a nation that despite the struggles, despite the challenge, despite we being in a space that is not necessarily um, where we feel comfortable, I mean, we can do it, you know? And I'm very proud to see our guys stepping up in the 800 meters, delivering well for Jamaica, national records after national record, and that augurs well for the future. Now we have both of them able to push each other as it relates to our team, and it is good. It's auguring well for us, and I must commend the guys for stepping up and delivering PBs after PBs, national record after national record, and this only now sets the tone for next year and in other years as it relates to major championship Lati. Listen, our 800-meter guys have nothing to be ashamed of. And I mean, Jamaica should use this as motivation. And this should be the start of how we strategize and how we see the 800-meter, how we put resources and all of that. So, well done. Kudos to the guys. And another national record. Can't argue. A big morning for Brand Jamaica.
Big money for Brand Jamaica, indeed. I mean, you rightfully said that there are other guys to add, other guys like a Tyrese Road. Now we know when we see in Tyrese Road one with his heart. I can't wait to have all those three guys coming together and the others
Hmm.
to be added to the pack. I mean,
Yes, the
Navas
Kimar
Anderson has
Farkisons of
been
this world, etc.
our Parkinson's of this world also. So we are indeed moving into a great place. I mean, history was made when we had two guys into the semifinals. History. Jamaica haven't had two guys into the semifinals. I mean, at great peak shape. I mean, the national record holder at that point in time into the semifinals with Navaski Anderson, who was the national record holder. I felt like I loved that little battle, even though it didn't stay for long. But that is what we're talking about. One pushing the other, the teamwork happening, the older one or the flag bearer, encouraging the newer one to say, hey, come on in, do it, take your stride and go. I mean, as I said, in the semifinals, we saw Navaski Anderson go at it again and said, listen, even though I am, the person who started this somewhat, that you moved it, but here is another go at it. 143.72 for a new national record, getting him into the finals, even though the finals was oh, a really tight one. When I saw Navaski Anderson in that semifinals with Wyoming, I was like, oh my God. You know,
Hmm.
I said I would have preferred him to have been into the semifinals that Tyrese was in with Aaron Arup, with Arup in that, being that, Arup and Navaski was training partners for quite a while. I felt like that's one that I wanted him to have been in. But when I saw how he strategized that semifinals, going head to head, battling with Wyoming, who is currently now again, I mean, in his own right, he is a star and a legend of this. And I was like, all right, cool, but then finishing strong and doing it and then coming out with a new national record.
Most definitely. And Lati, if you notice as well, for the middle distance events, unlike the sprints, you tend to generally persons would not want to be in a tough semi-final, but when you talk about the middle distance, it is an advantage for you to be in that semi, because then the race becomes much faster and you run on into even an automatic qualifying spot in a bid to get you through to the next round. And sometimes it plays well for us if we really look at it from that particular perspective, and it worked for him in the end because that particular heat was a faster heat. And as I said before, not having two Jamaican men in the 800 meters semi-final, much to have a finalist, it's a proud moment. It reminds me of what we were seeing with Navaski, Anderson, and Tyrese Road. No, it's a historical
Starry
past
Taylor.
of a Kenya Sinclair and a
Them
Natalia
name,
Gould.
mix me up at times. Starry's Road or Starry's Taylor. So it's Starry's Taylor
Yes,
this time.
yes, it is right. And well, we talk about the athletes who really need to join the party and who will come to the party shortly. Exactly. So what we're seeing from these guys is like past Kenya Sinclair, Natalia Gold sort of thing, and Navaski is being the father of that pack, and we really appreciate and we really continue to support him.
Definitely. We got around to what we say. We got around to the finals. And as we said, rightfully so, the finals had great stars, great athletes in its own right. I mean, we did what we needed to do to get to the finals. The finals had Emmanuel Wayoni, the finals had Sidachi, the finals had Marco Arop, it had Mac Phillips, it had Atoi, it had Virgin, it had Navaski Anderson, and it also had the Botswanan athlete. The finals went on and the finals came out. And listen to me, seven, the top seven athletes, 1 to 7, we got championship records, we got national records, we got personal best. What
Hmm.
more is it that we could have asked for in this? I've been saying that this World Championship event has been bringing us to a lot of sprints. Even the middle distances is giving us sprints. The dips are happening in the middle distance races. Even in the race walk, we're seeing the dips are happening. In the marathons, we're seeing those things happening. We're seeing persons sprinting to the lines for these things. So I mean, we realize that Tokyo was Tokyo in every way possible. The finals turned out to be Emmanuel Wayone with a championship record of 141.86. That is an indeed a deep run. The Algerian athlete with a season best of 141.90. The defending world champion of Marco Arop of Canada, 141.95, and that was a season best for him. Mr. Mac Phillips
Oh,
of Ireland with a national record of 142.15. The Spain athlete, 142.21, a season best. Max Virgin of Great Britain, 142.29 of a personal best. Navaski Anderson, a personal best, a national record with 142.76 for 7. Listen, great things.
great
142.76,
things.
no joke. No joke, right? No joke. And
Not a joke
I
any
feel
at
like,
all. By no, it's not a
go
joke,
ahead,
Lati. I
sorry.
mean, no, I'm just saying it's 142.76 for quite a bit of years. Jamaica would have struggled to even run under 146. You remember those days? And like, looking at us now at 142, about to make improvements to go into the 141s. I mean, we're making progress. I am very proud. I have never seen an event that we would have finished down the track in a final, and it feels to me like I would have won a medal or I would have actually broken a record. I am proud, absolutely proud. Not just one person advancing to the semis. We had one finalist, however, but I am absolutely proud. This is the 800 meters that we were speaking about. And one thing for sure, we are grading our athletes based on where we are coming from and not where we are necessarily are at the moment. So, based on where they're coming from, it is only safe to say that it can only get better from here.
Definitely. Like, even though I'm here, even now, I'm having a headache because I screamed so hard from the first round into the finals. Like, it's scary, but I am happy and I love the fact that I got that opportunity to be screaming and to be just shouting out and just being excited for athletes, being excited for national records, being excited for what is happening, what happened, and what is to come. Because I feel like Navaski Anderson can go 141.
I agree with you, Lati. I agree with you. It's more work for improvement, and he's developing, still learning the event, still, you know, getting there. He will get there in due time. More competition and all of that. Make some adjustments in training, tactical moves, Jocelyn, and just managing himself through traffic, etc. Those things will fix his time and definitely show the improvement readily.
You know, the last thing I want to say on Navasky Anderson as we move into the relays is that Navasky Anderson almost wasn't here because at one point he decided that, you know, him just that Canada just wanted to take a break from it. But I'm happy that he chose not to, and I'm happy that he's here so that he could continue to fly that flag high. Congratulations to you, Navasky Anderson. Great going, great win. It is a win, even though it's not a win, but it's a win. So great win, great
Yes, it
going,
is.
and the nation thanks you and Tyrese for what it is that you guys came into Tokyo and have done. We are really, really appreciative of that. We move right into
Thank you, Navasky Anderson, for choosing Jamaica.
for, choo- for choosing Jamaica. I like that. Time come to
Yes,
choose Jamaica.
correct. Impressive run.
Impressive run, impressive run. Impressive run. Good morning to you, Howard. It's great to have you. I know it is night over there now in England where you are. So, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate that. As we break down the penultimate day of what it is that we saw happen today, spiritual blessing, not a morning I want to see. It's not a morning that we want to see, but it's a morning that we got, and it's a morning that we're going to dissect and analyze here as best as we can here at Track and Field Totnet. Forbes said the 800-meter program is working. Let's see how we can bring more athletes into it. Definitely, definitely, it is indeed working, and we are seeing more athletes stepping up to that event. So yeah, well done to Mr. Anderson. Definitely well done. We move right into the relays. The 4 by 400-meter relays happen first. I know everybody wants to get into the sprint of it in terms of get into the 4 by 100 meters, but we will get there short order. The 4 by
Yeah, we will go in the order in which the event occurred.
Oh my word, my head is still hurting. The 4 by 400 meters relay happened, and we saw the men going up. The men went up first, right? The men went up first for the 4 by 400-meter relays. In the 4 by 400-meter relays for men, sorry about that. We actually saw the Jamaica team running out of heat number 2 with the Botswanians, with also the Belgians, Great Britain, ourselves. We saw Portugal in that, we saw Japan in that, we saw Brazil in that, and we saw also Australia in that. Unfortunately, the Brazil team was disqualified along with the Australian team in that. Um, Jamaica came fourth in that 4 by 4, but we also run a season best. We're gonna start right there. We run a season best of 2:59:13, and our team was made up of Bavel McPherson to Javon Powell to Jashana Dennis to Delana Kennedy. Tell me your thoughts based on this team.
Well, based on the pool of athletes that we had, and we saw, um, it was a decent team to begin with, in terms of based on what we had. Rashid McDonald, as you know, would have run the 400. We're trying to save some legs to give him a one big run. As you know, when it comes to the 4 by 4, you don't want to risk it. So I think based on the pool of athletes, I wouldn't say the coach made a blunder, to be honest, because we know Antonio Watson was nowhere near form, and just what we had to work with, I couldn't blame the team that was sent out there.
I couldn't blame the team that was sent out there. I was and I am satisfied with the team that was sent out there. As you rightfully said, we would have to rest Rashid Mack 11, one Mack 11, run up in a Mackie. I
Yeah,
have not
man.
yet spoken about that, but we will get there eventually in the complete breakout. But I do believe that he needed to be rested, and I'm happy that they did that. Um, I think that though we have Rashid McDonald to bring in, and what's his name from Sprintech. So Kedron goes to runs the 4 by 1. What's his name from Sprintech that runs the 4 by 4? His name is
Mm.
eluding me. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm,
I think the name.
yeah, I will remember his
We will
name.
get on.
Remember his name shortly. But if I'm supposed to say this, I mean, running from lane number two, let us take it, dissect each athlete as we go along. Running from lane number two, we had Bovel McPherson opening. Um, it is expected for me to have been the slowest of all. Barnes, Zandrian, Shana, thank you so much. Zandrian Barnes. So there is two other
Mhm.
athletes that is possible for two other changes to come into the final, with Rashid McDonald and maybe Zandrian Barnes, if they choose to do that complete two switch, because those are the other two athletes that would have been in training that the change out could happen with. Being that we are already at that point to say we wouldn't really bring in Antonio Watson at this time. So, Buffett McPherson, I
Right.
felt like he did everything that he could. He gave it is all. He gave it everything that he could. I mean, we ended up handing over first actually in that exchange with Bovel being right there, running from lane number two. I was really, really, really impressed. I mean,
Yeah, man, I agree with you, Lati. I mean, when you look at the fact that the first leg is not an easy leg. Normally, when you talk about 4x4, your first leg is a solid leg that somebody strong, somebody who can give you a lead or can be right there in the pack. Because, as you know, it's one of the longest leg is like a three-turn stagger. You pass the baton way up in the zone, And I mean, we did fairly well with him on that lead-off leg. So for me, I would definitely keep him in because I think he actually did us some justice on that lead-off leg.
but if you say you keep him in, where do you put Mac 11?
Ah, this
It
is where it gets interesting.
gets interesting.
Rasheen, I mean, maybe we'd have to do some readjustment because for me, even Rasheen himself seems like he would prefer to even give us the lead-off leg instead. To be honest, so I know exactly why you asked the question, and our second leg too, we want to ensure that somebody can sprint out and get themselves away from the traffic. So you might be onto something as to where do we put Rasheen if we keep Bovel McPherson in the
Yeah,
lineup. And as you just mentioned, we also potentially have a Zanjan band that we could have coming in. So it makes it a little bit interesting to
it
see
makes it a little bit
the
interesting.
decision will be. But Mac 11 will have to be in that team, as we all know.
As we all know. Then we moved on. We saw Javon Powell running the second leg this time around. I, for one, as I said, I'm really impressed with this team because what it is that Javon Powell gave us on that mix 4x4, I was in between minds because knowing that he's not at his best, or for me, I feel like Jerome Powell this season is not even at his 80%. So I was a little bit
Hmm.
unsure bringing him in to this on that second leg. But I must say, Bovel to Javon Powell was wonderful on this for me. It was a good setup with that with there. You thought the same?
Hmm. Yeah, man, I definitely think it's a good idea. And as I was saying earlier, with the second leg, you want somebody who is able to navigate, and I think Javon is a good athlete to do that. I think it was a good transition between first and second leg. Some synergy, some chemistry was there, and they did well. For the first two legs, I have to give them credit for that, and I think it can only get better in future years. But he is far from his best, and we know when once Javon is at his best, then we will see much better relay running from him. And he is not even at 80% as you can witness, but some athletes are able to just come with a relay baton in their hand and do it not just for themselves but for a team. And that is what I appreciate about the energy that I saw from him this morning in that 4x400
Definitely.
meters.
I must say on the third leg now we get to Dennis. It would have been Dennis' first time in the outing down in that black, green, and gold for us on this global stage on the global level. And therefore I was also still okay with that. Zevan is with us for a short while. Zevan, I can take your take quickly, being that you're here with us for short order.
On what? Which one?
We're on the men's 4x4.
The 4x4.
Nice, exceptional. I liked it. It looked really good, and should get stronger based on who they're gonna
Stephen, can
add
you
to it.
turn your camera, turn your phone? Thank you.
I think it looks really good.
Mhm.
I would say based on what we have in the back room, I call it the back room there, we don't even need to add anything to it. But because of what we have, we will have to add to it to get better. I don't think it will get better based on situation. I won't even get emotional over it because you're gonna change the pieces. And once you change the pieces, doesn't mean
What will not get better, Xavier? Is it the position or is it the
the time won't
time
get better.
that
The time won't
the
get better.
team
The time won't get
oh,
better,
No, you won't get better.
won't, with even with Mach
No,
11?
it won't. The
Mm,
time won't get better.
it's
I'm not getting
interesting.
emotional over it
it's interesting that you say that,
because
Xavier.
I am stunned too.
on the breakdown of the splits, anything can change over the other three legs. Mach 11 might come in and give you a sub 44, but then the other three athletes might not perform as well as they did in the first round. So it's still going to equate, but not to the same time.
Okay,
Interesting.
interesting. I
Mach
get,
11 will come in, but those athletes, I'm not expecting them to give me about the same time. I'm expecting them to slow down because they just run a run of their lifetime to get into the finals.
but even though that they have,
Okay, see.
fair enough, but even though that they have basically a good day to recuperate, because remember the 4x.
Seeing what happening over the championships, I don't think anybody gonna go back to what they have run early in the season. I think it's just what it is. They will slow down, um,
Who is able to maintain?
maintain. Yeah,
It's really what it
yeah.
is.
Who's able to maintain? And you saw that, and you saw Noah talk about it. I can do it, but can I maintain it? Let us see if they can maintain it. I don't think that I would. I would love them to go back sub 3 minutes, but it's going to be a hard feat because then the pressure plus all the components that are going to be in front of them.
Yeah, because for the most part, Xavier and Lati, the races that we saw persons really stepping up and doing better than the prelims. It's those persons who would have actually managed their earlier rounds well, like a Melissa,
Yeah,
she gone faster each round. And like for the 400-meter women, they step it up a notch.
yeah,
But for to be consistent for the most part, most persons who would have gave it a good 80-90% of their effort in the semis did not necessarily run
yeah,
faster in the
and,
final
and
for
and
sure.
that's what it is. And Steve will tell you. I was listening to Stephen Francis. He's saying that you should be able to at this level give me a season best. Even if you don't give me a medal, what we're looking for is season best. And we got it out of the guys. We got it early, so
Hmm.
for them to go above their season best at this point of the championship, this time of the year, game be a hard feat to ask these athletes to come back and run that stellar race that they did. We had to run that race to get into the event final, but can we medal or can we run a good event and be accountable? We'll be accountable for ourselves, but based on what is in front of us, and race strategy can go out the door because you're going to see the Botswana team flying.
And Xavier and Lati, we heard after the 4x4 that Kenya and the United States will have a rerun to get that final spot into the finals. Your take on that, and in terms of the Americans potentially trying to be there with the Botswana and to challenge or to to step up to try and battle for gold. If they are going to have that rerun just to get into the final, would you assume that the US is going to find it even much more difficult beating that Botswana team? Even before then, it would have been rather difficult for them. Now having to do that twice. What's your take?
For me, and I go quickly. It's hard to beat the Botswana team because no matter what pieces are pulled from that puzzle, they're super fast. The US,
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping on the US team. They know what they need to do and how to do it. They're statisticians. They know which leg to run, what time they need to run, how to run the race, and keep pace of it. Because it's a statistic race, and Orion, if you put the numbers right and tell each athlete this is what you need to do to beat them and keep in pace of it, they will be able to do it. Good coaches will tell you, keep in pace of this is what you need to do.
Well, I am not, but Xavier, I'm not referring to the race to get into the final by beating the Kenyans. I'm saying after the Americans would have done what they are trying to do to get in. What's your take on them now trying to
Remember,
be
they're
there
going
in
to
that actual
they're going to
final?
fit the pieces together to beat that Botswana team. They're going to be strategic. because they're going for it. So they're gonna sit
All right.
down and watch.
Do you remember our female?
Yeah.
Do you remember our female Fantastic Four in the 400 some years ago? Christine Day, Stephanie and McPherson, Sharika Jackson, Novlin Williams Mill, finishing third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, not getting 1, 2, but because of the fact that they had four quality that was able to overall the Americans in the end. Despite Felix passed Stephanie and McPherson, the legs was just not there for the Americans overall as a team effort. Jamaica won. Now the Botswanan has three solid 400-meter runners in that final, albeit it was not 1, 2, 3, but they had three in the final, coupled with somebody who ran the 200 meters and was fourth and is there to actually add his contribution to that team. How do you think the Americans will stand up against a Botswanan team like that?
So my thing with this is that being that they're going to rerun with to get into the final,
That's the point I'm trying.
being that they're going to rerun to get into the finals, I would love for World Athletics to stipulate one thing in the first play, and that is to say it's the same team that you ran in the heat should come back and run this one to get into it, because I don't want them to now go and make the super team. You chose this team to run the first round,
Right.
use back
Mm-hmm.
this team to
Correct.
run. So that's the first
Correct.
stipulation I would love for them to drop down, to sit down.
And that would only be fair, Lati. That would only be fair because you'd have already entered your team. It's similar to when you would have already entered an athlete for an event and you did not add an
Yes.
alternative, you can't do nothing about it after. So I think Royal Athletics should maintain such a rule to ensure that the US team cannot make any change unless they would have already qualified from this rerun and then they can make the change after. But they should run the same team that they would have
Okay.
actually
So
projected to run.
so so Maurice is saying it will be the same team. So once it is the same team,
Oh,
once it is
definitely.
the
Good.
same team,
Great.
great. That's the first thing. So therefore, we will get to see the true test if this team was really ready to make it into it. When it is now that they run that team, and if it is now that they run that team and that team get into it based on their standards and stuff, we know the change is going. Number first thing, US, 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 US blunder.
Has the depth.
US blundered in the first place, and this is a learning lesson for all relay teams, all country. Wanting to qualify to get into a final, you need to put your best foot forward. You need to put the best forward and do not necessarily play around. US saw that this morning because they have the likes of three others. Jacori Patterson, Roy Benjamin. I hope I got that correct this morning.
Oh,
And
oh,
also they had the likes of Vernon Norwood. Why? Okay, understandably, you could be resting Jacor Patterson and Roy Benjamin. Fine. Why didn't you send out Vernon Norwood? The most experienced man that United States have
of them
of them
all.
all on the team. Why didn't you do that? And therefore, in the end, they blundered and basically faced it. Give me one moment. I think we're getting a caller. Apologies for that. So the person is going to come the other way. Right. So I felt like that was a blunder for them this morning when it is that they did not show their strong team. So it is a lesson to learn. Going into it now, we saw what happened. We saw what happened, and therefore we are basically have to be paying for. They have to be paying, not we, but they have to be paying for that. All the best to them. What I will say though, I wanted the matchup between Botswana and US because I wanted the Leslie Tobogo, Roy Benjamin, comfortable, relaxed legs going into a final and see what it is that we would have gotten. So I wanted that. Do I say that I still want to see it happen at this point in time? Not necessarily. I feel like also the South African team that they will do the runoff with is also a good team. Good morning, Howard, and good morning, Dwayne. I feel like also the South African team that they will be doing the runoff with is also a good team, and it's also a team that is also good for the championships. That's my take on that. What you think, Odia?
Yeah, yeah, man, I definitely agree with you. In terms of the US team should have known better. We are at a level of track and field now where you don't want to go in there to underestimate your opponents, underestimate what it is that another country will bring, because we are seeing persons stepping up now. And yes, you would have actually rest Arai Benjamin, as you know, is a 400-meter hurdles world champion, right? So you would basically rest him and one other. But when you look at Vernon Norwood, you could have easily sent him out there to ensure that business was taken care of. And I think the US basically blundered there, and they have to fix it. They have to fix it, and it will take something out of them to fix it, because they're going to try to go out there now to really run the race of their life in this rerun, to ensure that there's no hiccups and all of that sort. So it was their error, and they will have to come again. One thing I caution other countries though is that when US gets a second chance, they don't necessarily waste it. We would have seen when their 4x1 team
Women.
in the for the women, right, they basically ran by themselves again in lane one, came back in the finals in lane one, and they actually were Olympic champions. So we still have to pay some attention to the United States. They have the depth and so forth. But as I said before, it's going to be an interesting race. And Lati, unlike yourself, though, for me, I still want to see that real clash between Botswana and the United States, just to see how well Botswana can utilize three finalists along with a quality 200-meter runner that can run a good 400 as well. So it's going to be interesting. I am dying to see that final nonetheless. And I'm also looking to see what Team Jamaica can bring to that final.
Definitely, I agree. So I stand corrected. It is not the South Africans that they will run against. South Africa will run for the 4x100 meters. So stand corrected. With that, they will be
Hmm.
running out with Kenya. So that's what will happen. Um, I'm going to take the question, the statement from Simone. Simone said she wished Chris Taylor was informed to run one of that relay leg. My question to you, Simone, with Chris Taylor being informed to run one of the relay leg, is who would you replace him with though in this championship based on what it is, based on where we're at? Don't take me wrong. I wish he was informed also, meaning the one of the only reason why
That we know what he can bring to the relays when he's in form. But basically, with the setup that we have right now at this minute, the form that he's in, and then just
coming back.
he was just not there in terms of, right, and coming back from all of that. I think for the future it harbors well. And remember, he's someone that, like an Alison Felix, that is good at 4x1, equally good at 4x4. And that's one of the reasons why we're excited to see what he will bring to the table in the next coming years, because we really and truly want to agree with our commenter to just know that he would do some damage in the future, but not necessarily now. And the talents that you have on display right now, I don't think he would be able to replace anybody. But I get what the
No,
person
but
is
I
trying to
agree,
say.
and I can't wait for Chris Taylor to get back to that place where we can where the potential of having him being open to running the 4x1, the 4x4, whether it be in the same championship or not. I can't wait for him to come back. And again, chef kiss to Christopher Taylor coming back and also getting his personal best in that 200 meters. Really lovely seeing him. So therefore, we know that great things are happening, not just on the flats, but also for the relay. Dwayne says, but Dwayne says,
He says Rasheen, Powell, Zandra, and Chris Taylor, that would be his order. If
Rasheen,
he,
Powell,
in terms of the team that we
Zandra. That is also a good order
and Chris.
also. But at this moment, what we have currently with the pool that we are working with, we have Rasheen in the pool, we have Powell in the pool, we have Zandran in the pool, we have Kennedy in the pool. We have Bovel McPherson in the pool. So it is for the relay coach, the relay statisticianist that is there with them to decide which four come tomorrow morning they will push out. Maurice says that Botswana team should win easily. South Africa is not a team to play with either. I agree on that. That the South Africans with Nene and what's his name is a team not to be sitting down and lying down,
Endure and all
Endori and
them
all. Endori is from Botswana,
from
right,
Botswana.
and all of
You're
that.
right.
Case in point, so we can't call it a blunder until we know what's the reason. I think he's saying that we can't call US blundering with what they did until we know what their reason was. The why I said it's a blunder and a lesson to learn is because I was thinking that they have Norwood around the back. What you're saying, what we maybe likely be saying is then that in this case, come the finals, US would have been removing completely three persons and putting all these three men into the final, which is Roy Benjamin, Roy Benjamin,
Brennan
Vernon Norwood,
Norwood.
and Jacori Patterson. They would be pulling three persons and putting that in if that is the case that they were actually looking towards in that form. Maurice also went on to say that Botswana should win easily. We said that already. Smith on the second leg for US looks injured. That is true, and that's where the blunder actually seemingly to have happened also in there. But I don't know.
And maybe that's where they're gonna make their change.
Maybe that's where they're going to make their change. I don't think South Africa 4x1 should have rerun. They should have just given a lane. Let us finish with the 4x4 and just run quickly into the 4x1 as we know it to be. Um, What about Watson? No, I would not inject Watson Desna into this 4x4 based on what it is that he gave to us into the heat of that
In the prelims.
4x4 and of the flat 400 meters. Something is a little bit off. But he is in the pool, he is there, and we don't know if they would choose him. If they would choose him to do it. Drew said, with due respect to the other commentators, there are no way Taylor should be in the pool. Well, Taylor is not in the pool. She's just saying that she wish he was informed to basically give us
To
that
be a
be
part
a
of the
part.
team.
Anyone can be in the pool. Yeah, anyone can be in the pool. Yes, but I mean, for us Jamaicans right now, we are looking for button exchanges happening. We know that US always doing those button exchanges things, so US can just pull from anybody. Because right about now, US can decide say, if Noah Lyles, the world champ, the four-time 200-meter world champion, is strong enough to be able to manage that 4x4,
Yep.
recuperate in time for when the women 4x4 run, and then the men 4x1 is going to run. If he's strong enough, them can also choose to draw him in there and put him in there as so. Nevada said no, so US men 4x4 will do a rerun to qualify. Yes, they will run against um Kenya
Kenya.
to qualify into the 4x4. Dwayne said that he's sure that they can also decide to inject, that is South Africa can decide to inject Wayne Van Niekerk into that. That's also another thing. And if my memory serves me correct, I'm not sure. I think I saw Wayne Van Niekerk doing some baton exchanges for something. Wasn't sure for what, which more likely would have been the 4x4, but I'm not sure. I think. What's the situation with Vernon? We don't know if he was fit to run. So that's what I'm saying. We don't know why they didn't put Vernon out there, but I was just saying that having him there was an option. I think if he was, he would be in the heat because they have three other guys to bring in other than Vernon. Oh my God. The guys on paper for US 4x4 should have gotten it done on paper, but things happen. Maurice said, when will
We have to run the races.
the races have to run? Maybe the rerun will happen maybe sometime now and not being shown on TV. We're not sure. They were impeded for sure. They were impeded for sure. But then again, once again, our guys in that heat, let's say Tobago, Botswanian team came out with a season best running 2:57.68 for the win. And tell you, Epi, Scotch, Tobago, Enduri, I think they will right about now. I don't even know who they'll be pulling out to bring in the national 400-meter record holder to add him because he did not run in this heat. So I don't know if they're going to take out Scotch or they're going to take out Tobago and put him in, but somebody may come out because they have him in the waiting to bring forth to add to that list of men for the Botanians.
Mm-hmm.
Belgium ran Sakor, he ran Dylan Borley, Segers, and Doom, Alexander Doom, for a season best also 2:57.98. And remember, there is still so they ran Jonathan Borley, and I think there is still the younger Borley is still there. So also Belgium can do some change and maybe affix something. Great Britain had Lee Thompson, Harris, Simos, and Dobson running another season best of 2:58.11, getting into that. And as we said, Jamaica ran a season best of 2:59.13, and there can be changes. Portugal won a national record 2:59.70. Like these number six in the Japanese ran 2:59.74 for a season best. When we look at heat number one, we saw where South Africa, as we said, with Ocon, and Ocon won a really good leg for me. Ocon won that second leg really good. And I felt that was really a good run for South Africans, qualifying in 2:58.81.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we saw Qatar with Samba. Oh my word. National record, three flat. National record. I felt like
He's coming back to some sort
Samba.
of form.
Yes, and I
Abderrahman
felt like
Samba.
Abakar on the third leg for Qatar gave a good representation of himself, and not to mention Ibrahim on that first leg for them gave a good representation of himself for them to get a national record and also to come in second. Netherlands sees the best, three flat also, and therefore, as we said, rightfully so, the United States and Kenya will be running for a spot to decide into that what will happen. Ah, that was the men 4x4. As we said, there is options for Jamaica team to change, and we know that the US have depth can bring in changes. And therefore we move then to the women 4x4. I'm so smiling my face off for this one. The women represented themselves great, and I mean greatly, Onion.
They they turn up for the record books. They did absolutely amazing stuff this morning. They were comfortable, they were relaxed, and they got the job done with little fuss. I mean, I'm proud considering the fact that, where the 400 meters itself would have reached, and to see them coming out here with a team effort, with the chemistry, the synergy, and just the determination to represent Brand Jamaica and to wear the black, green, and gold. I was proud this morning watching them going around the track for 1600 meters. Awesome stuff. And I am looking for greater things to come in the final. Well done. I am so proud of them.
3:22.77. Now we're lead at that point in time because the women, our women went up first. 3:22.77. Long in coming. Great run. I just want us to just single-handedly just look on these four women. Because right about now, for me, this is the team that will return tomorrow morning. This is the team that will
Yeah.
return tomorrow morning. When I saw the team set up with Dejanay Oakley to Stacey and Williams to McGregor to the national record holder, I was like, because of one thing. I was like, Stacey in the second leg. I've gotten used to seeing Stacey run the anchor leg, and I've gotten used to seeing Price running the second leg. For me, it's like Price was stapled on that second leg for me for a while. Last year when we switched that and had Stacey and Williams starting the relay, I was like, interesting. Right at this moment, Stacey and Williams have not run the third leg for us yet on a global championship. So Stacey and Williams has run almost all four legs. They have run
Three
three
or
legs
four
of
legs.
four.
Right. So she's getting close to the Shelley and Fraser
She
Price in the
is
4x1.
indeed getting
We're
close
all
to it
four
because
legs.
Nikisha Price has only run now
Mhm.
two legs for us there. Desna said she would change night going to come in So you would change night for who and put where? I guess you're going to tell me that you changed night for McGregor. But then Antoinette Knight
Mm-hmm.
will go where? Where would you set that team? Because I felt like running from lane number 2 this morning, Dijonay Oakley, Chef Kiss. Dijonay
Yeah.
Oakley all season.
Mm-hmm.
Dijonay Oakley all season has been running the first leg for her NCAA team. And I felt like, coach, you got that right this morning. You got it right. The setup, you got
Mm-hmm.
it perfectly right. Putting Dijonay Oakley there. Dijonay Oakley shoot out of that blocks. Boom. Just angling the business, triangle the business. The panty work. It worked for them this morning though. Me not lie, the panty did work. The
Yes,
panty
Lati, it
work,
worked.
Dijonay.
And they look good in
Look
it, I
really
must
good in
say.
it. Dijonay, I must say you did a really fantastic job. You angled the business. You were given your task and you dealt with your task the way it was supposed to be dealt with. You handed over that baton in first place to Dolly number 1.
And Lati, you know, one of the reasons why we would have seen such a change with the order and Stacey and Williams coming to the second leg. Stacey and I think it would be in terms of not really been there at the highest level in terms of the experience in the fulsome way, but she is in great form and we really wanted to get ourselves out of traffic. The second leg takes somebody who's able to navigate, who's able to sprint the first 100, position themselves down the back straight away in a decent position, and then you glide yourself along. And I think that's why Team Jamaica would have brought Stacey and Williams to the second leg just to do that, you know. And I think it worked along with the lead off leg, paid some dividends. And if you're going to have a not so great leg, even though I think all four women acquitted themselves well this morning, if you have a quartet and you're gonna have, let's say, a slight weak link, you want to ensure that that perhaps is the third leg because you need a good start, a good second leg, a good anchor. And I think the way they positioned these four ladies was nothing short of the very best in terms of what I think the team
That's the
went out
reason why
there
we ended up
to represent us.
coming through first, leading from the front, from the start of the gun and everything. And I
Yeah.
must say, kudos to you again, darling number 1. You came into this championship with a personal best of 50, run a new personal best, coming out of that, also running a new, coming out of the 50 zone thing and running a sub 50, and got an opportunity to be rested for this, and come into the second leg comfortably so. And now that I think about it, I realize why the switch would have happened between Stacey and Williams and Nikisha Price right there, because Nikisha Price would have actually ran that flat 400 meters, also running that flat 400 meters out of lane number 2 in the finals. So you wouldn't want to be giving her the task of doing that this morning so quickly again. So I,
Mm-hmm.
I now realize why that switch would have happened, because as I said, rightfully so, we are used to Dolly number 1 being at the anchor and Nikisha Price being right there on the second leg. But it worked for us this morning. Nikisha and Stephen Williams kept the lead, stretched the lead, opened it up, and went right into the business and gave it to Renisha McGregor. Renisha McGregor, I think for a long time, this has been one of your best or better race that you have given unto us. And I thank you so much for it. You never dared, you never relinquished the lead. Instead, you grew on it. You grew on it also. And that gave us a good sighting and a good feel of what it is that potentially we did it. This morning we did it. We were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we are there to represent. We are there to compete, and we are going out there to compete. And I think the team is sending a message that, you know, the quality might be elsewhere, but our chemistry, our synergy, and our cooperation and willingness, yeah, is also
And I
here to
felt like the
compete.
ladies also came into this, especially the fact that the ladies did not qualify by a world relays, but we came into it so narrowly, but we did what we needed to do. Nikisha Price, you get the button, and once Nikisha Price get the button and just need to just keep it at it what it was, And I felt like we could have moved that world lead time even further, but it still gave us a world lead, and kudos to the ladies. Um, as Desna said, because for me, I would not bring Leah Anderson into the team. The next person,
And Lati, in all fairness, though, in all fairness, while I agree with you in terms of that we could have lowered the world lead, in my view, no need to because we still need them to rerun and position matters as opposed to what time they will run
yeah,
tomorrow for
that's
me.
that's what I said. She just kept it. She kept it nice and dandy. And also she kept it to her advantage because she need her legs because she was just coming off that 400 meters. So the 400 girls is game on. It's definitely game on. There's three ladies that didn't run this morning, which would be Leah Anderson, Cheyenne Salmon, and Anjanette Knight. I agree with Desna that I would bring Anjanette Knight in. If it is that we would want to do the change, it would be Anjanette Knight. Would you say?
Yeah, I agree with you. If there's to be one change, she would be the first person that would replace an individual on this team. But I still believe I like this team though, to be honest. But if there is to be, there will be no doubt and there will be no question bringing in Anjanette Knight in this one. But I think sometimes we have to look at. You always hear the saying it's not always the flat speed, it's not always who's faster, but when a team is working, then a team is working. But let's see, whatever the coaches decide to do, I think it will be perhaps in the best interest of the country and also in the best interest of the athletes because we have to also understand who is in good shape, who is healthy, and who is ready and willing to
I agree.
compete.
And because of that, what you just said about who is in good shape, ready to compete, and who is healthy, I feel like we may go back to the switch of having Nikisha Price um, running the second leg and Stacey Williams running the anchor leg. Maybe I'm just saying that it may just possibly happen. I'm not saying it have to happen because there was a good show of themselves this morning. But maybe, just maybe, we may ending up
Mhm.
back right there. Um, and nothing would be of problem. Shauna said that no change for her. She would keep the team as it is. In that case,
Yeah,
definitely. In that heat, we saw the Norwegian athletes coming through for second in a national record of 3:23.84. Poland athletes coming through for third in 3:24.39, and also in a season best. I mean, Italy came fourth in a season best of 3:24.71. So we're seeing that the teams are doing what they need to do, and we are getting season best national records and all of those. So Germany came sixth.
personal best,
Germany came
etc.
sixth with 3:25.33 for a season best. Australia came seventh, 3:25.43 for another season best. So great things are happening for these relays and these distances. We then move into heat number two. Glory, hallelujah. United States had Alexis Holmes, Effie Young, Panera Haynes, Brittany Wilson coming through for first, taking back that world lead in 3:22.53. Belgium 3:23.96 for a season best. I felt like Pontet from Belgium did well for herself. Netherlands 3:24.03 for season best. I didn't feel Lila Klaver in this for Netherlands for me, to tell the truth, but I know that they have in the waiting or in the ear waiting to come in the hurdles world champion in paintball,
Champion,
right?
Femke Ball.
So we know that they can also make changes to their team. France came through with a season best for 3:24.33. Canada, a season best 3:26 for fifth. Switzerland, 3:27 for sixth with a season best. South Africa, and then that rounded out to the Ireland athletes. For me, I feel like the United States.
So
Go ahead.
Lati, let me um. All right. So you mentioned the potential of bringing in Femke Ball on that 4x4 for the Netherlands. Do we envision seeing? I don't think the Dutch will be so close anyhow, but just to see a spectacular anchor leg. We know Sydney is the better athlete. But I'd still love to see that Femke ball, Sydney McLaughlin ankle leg. You know, what
Definitely,
say you on that one?
I say the same. It is definitely going to happen because Sydney, we have been seeing snippets of Sydney practicing with the guys there. So definitely they will be bringing in that, in my viewpoint, that will come forth for them. That will definitely happen. So where it is that they will match up, if they will match up again, but definitely, I feel like the matchup will happen right there, maybe possibly.
I think the problem that the Netherlands is having is that Lika Klava is not in the same shape like she once were a couple of years ago when she was there right about with Natalia Kazmarek. Well, because what's her name
Yeah,
now? She married now? Yeah, that same. Yeah, I think Lika Klava has fall off, and that would have hurt the Dutch team strength somewhat, and it's gonna add more pressure on ball to try and make up the lost time. But we will wait and see how well they acquit themselves. To be honest, our team, we had to do what we had to do, and that's why we sent a strong team out there to qualify to ensure that we're there. But other countries seemingly have more opportunity to bring in more firepower and ultimate power to their team.
definitely. The finals, the lane draws for the finals will be France will be in lane number 2, Italy run from lane number 3, Poland run from lane number 4, the United States will run from lane number 5, Jamaica lane number 6, Norway lane number 7, Belgium will run from lane number 8, and Netherlands will run from lane number 9 for the women's 4 by 4. So definitely, I mean, it's going to be a good one to watch to see how it is that they come out, because as we know that the first leg runners will have to run in their lane when it is that it just starts. So it's going to be an exciting one to see and to watch what it is that go forth. We move into the meat of the matter. Ben, I think you have arrived at the right time, Sibenya, as we move into the meat of the
Mhm.
matter.
Big up yourself, Ben. One
Oh,
Enly.
Jesus. I mean, the meat of the matter is the problem that we want to speak about. The men's 4 by 100 meters. Before we even dissect what may have transpired or what transpired or what, I want to ask a quick question. Does Jamaica male 4 by 1 have a problem? Is on this third to the fourth leg thing? Is it a problem that cannot be fixed or what? I don't know. I just want to ask that question.
I think for me, I think it's a recurring problem, and I think we need to do something about it. We can't keep doing something over and over and expect to get a better result if it is that we are not basically investing time and putting strategy together. If you recognize Kishane Thompson, as good as he is over 100 meters, we would have actually time and time again not seen him really getting a chance to run the anchor leg or even to receive the baton. At this point in time, I think Jamaica needs to find another strategy. See if leading off with him will do some justice for the team, because we're just not getting it right. And the lack of experience as it relates to him running relays is now proving to be consistent with the fact that he has just not been around in the relays, and he's more focused on his individual 100 meters. Now, as it relates to what we keep on seeing with him as well, is that even to even strengthen the point with the lack of experience, when you're an athlete, a seasoned relay runner, and you're in the relay exchange zone, you tend to have an idea when you're going close to the end of the zone and all of that. So even when he moves early, he doesn't seem to give himself the understanding that, look, I am getting towards the end of the box, etc. Slow down or even come to a complete halt, because we are messing up already. So for me, I think Jamaica should make some adjustments, and the adjustment should not always be to have your fastest or seemingly fastest person on the anchor leg at all times. We have to look at what our options are, look at what we're working with, look at who will be able to do a faster leg or a better leg based on how they receive the baton, right to left, etc. We need to do something. We need to work on that and make the adjustment. No, for me, Kishane can perhaps be experimented on another leg, so to speak. And that's what I have to say this morning. But it is not looking good now that we are failing to deliver the goods when it matters most. We had top two Quinella in the men's 100 meters, and to see us not being in the final of the 4x1, it's just like a bittersweet moment. Now that we return to top form at 100 meters, and the relay that we would have actually had such a long history is actually proving to be a challenge for us for so many seasons now. We need to get it right.
So you then definitely is agreeing with the question that I asked, if it is that we have a problem there. Um,
Yeah, we definitely had a problem, or is
is that
having a problem because
this
it's
is another
ongoing.
issue. I mean, we'll come and Tokyo and make history. I definitely never thought that this would have been a history that we would have made. Jamaica, it's been forever. We have not seen. I don't even recall if I've watched a championship, a global championship with Jamaica men 4x100 meters not lining up in a finals. Outside of we dropping the button or not getting the button pass around, but not being in a finals. Can you recall? I can't. I can't recall.
I can't
I
vividly
can't.
either.
It's been that forever. But you said something that sparked something for me. Right to left, left to right. That right to left thing is one of the major reasons on that third to fourth leg partner exchange. That is the what why it is that we have a problem there. Because if we're supposed to look at what happened this morning, Ben says, and Ben is a big fan of Kishane, so we know. So for Ben to be giving him a partial blame, and I say partial because I'm going to look at it as partial because I share a different view. Ben said Kishane moved a tad too early and that threw off Ford, hence the botched button exchange. My view on that, Ben, is that I saw Ford hit his marker, and yes, rightfully so, using the long zone, which I've come to see Kishane use over time since he has now been on the team, which is not a problem. I saw where it's as if Kishane waited a third second before he moved off, which would have given Ford one step over the marker. So agreed that Kishane would have moved a tad early. Moved out, hands up. For me, Ford was kind of on the wrong side because Ford and Kishane is now on the same side. If it is that we would have looked, so the button there, so changing on the same side would have also caused the problem, rightfully so, right, Odion? Because if both of them on the same side, and
Yeah,
definitely,
most
so
definitely.
therefore,
Right, left,
right, so
right, left.
therefore, the first problem, that's
That's
the
what we should
first
do.
problem, that the first issue that would have started to sparkling the first problem. I did not see Ford hand outstretching for that button exchange to come to some form of saying the button I got try to get to be exchanged. And therefore I saw Kishane hand up, but I didn't see Ford hand out. Then in return, it felt like for me, Kishane realized that him not feel no button, him not feel no hand, him no reach. He stopped. And at that point in time when Kishane stopped, Ford did not speed up to even come close to get that button there. And by the time Kishane go back again, Ford just let go a button.
And and Lati, we can't do anything about the fact that we had that particular team, and that's the team we had to
I mean,
send
I feel
out
like
there,
that team
right?
that we should have
But
sent out there in the first place.
no, I don't think it should be either. But I'm just saying the fact that they sent that team out there. I think another thing that the Jamaican coaches need to really look at going forward, uh, and I'm gonna say this, is try to motivate our top athletes and just ensure that the whatever rule there is, it's absolutely clear, right? I don't think we do that enough in terms of letting the country knows what it is, what mechanism it is that we're using to select our eats or our final team. No, I'm saying this to say we are basically just reviewing the 4x1, the mishap and so forth. But when you look at speed, raw speed, moving from a faster person like a Kishane Thompson and a Ryan Ford, and maybe Kishane keeps misjudging, thinking that maybe the speed coming in is somewhat similar to his, or like an oblique civil. No, it's real, and these are reasons that we really need to look at. And hence one of the reasons why I am so dying to see a Brian Level stepping up, because when Kishane decides to move in a similar way he did this morning, it will not be much of a problem, because somebody that speedy will definitely be in that speed bracket to actually give Kishane the button in such a time. Or Kishane basically lead us off and build a early lead, because sometimes we make changes. Even Asafa, as great as he was, seeing himself as a 100-meter runner and not as a 200-meter runner, would have run the curve for us some time. So Kishane perhaps need to be experimented elsewhere, and also we motivating our 200-meter guys to come to relay camps and to come to practice and to make themselves available to help qualify the team as well for championships, so that we can have the best athletes in the pool of runners that we need to select from.
Listen to you speak just now. You speak the 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 heart of Michael Frater, who spoke the other night and saying it was just a sad moment that there weren't more athletes making themselves available for the pool to practice for, so that experiment could have happened. And I do also agree with all that we need to experiment with Kishane on a different leg, a totally different leg. And for me, the same way as though we are experimenting with Sharika on that start leg instead of that ankle leg, I feel like the same can happen for Kishane, because it will just change the dynamics of things. It was and it is sad that Brian Lavelle was not available, and is not available for relay duties for us at this point in time, and therefore we had to work with what we had. My viewpoint from the get go, I said this then, and I still hold by it. And now
And that you remember you said that even last night,
I
Mr.
was just coming
KG.
right there. So I was just coming right there. I said this then, and I said it again. I said it last night. I'm saying this again. And for this reason is why I said it then. I mean, I said this about Ryan Ford from the London Diamond League when it is that we were going up to be qualified. That I don't think that Ryan Ford should run that third leg. After seeing the London Diamond League, what happened between Kadron Gosen and Kishane, what we saw happen here, and I mean, Kadron was able to get it together and make it work, made it worse. Then I said, listen, Raheem now gonna be able to live up to the billing, because if we don't fix that with Kishian, you're going to need somebody who have been there with him, seen pictures and videos of Kish Kadron goes to passing after Kishian. My heart was warmed. Then me come see this. Say it was Raheem better than they give Raheem the second leg and put public to
And
run.
they and Kadrian and Kitchen is of similar build and height stature, and it worked in terms of getting the change in that zone
Very much so.
correctly.
Soul Chaddy said Kishan's acceleration can be favorable on the first leg, but he had to pass to a person like oblique or level on the backstretch. It is something that he will have to teach him if is that what we need to do, or he also will have to learn. But
But it simply mean if it means that front loading our team, if that's what we have to do, then that's what we have to do. Relays are run by four legs and not just one, two, or three. It is four legs, and some countries will have to front load at some point in time. It doesn't. You have countries who is using their slowest runner anchoring. So if it simply means that we have to use Kishane to oblique to level and the slowest person on the anchor just for a different result, then we might try to even experiment with that as well. Might sound away, but trust and believe it. Some countries have to do that in order to get the best possible result. I see the Britain team. Before Daryl Nita being a part of the British top three, when she was further ranked lower than that, they experimented and run Dina and they run other person, and Daryl would have been the anchor for them, not being one of the faster persons. So if we have to do what we have to do, then we have to do
we
what we
have
have
to
to
do
do.
what we have to do. We have to get to a place of experiment with the athletes. And I wish Jamaica would get to a place where, I'm not saying you're going to basically let everything be about the relays all the time, but I wish we can get to a place where we can find a moment in the season to bring some athletes together, not just the big three, not just the big four, but bring a pool of athletes, 10, 12 athletes, making themselves available sometime in the seasons. And we say, okay, same as you go to your individual training, and there comes a point in time in the day. It don't have to be once per week or once every month. In the season, we come together and we get this together. We get this done. And then when the opportunity arises for a team to be pushed out somewhere, we get four guys going there. Another time we get another four guys, and therefore we get to use them in different spaces because we're experimenting. So that when we get to the championships, the global championships, we have the opportunity. We can just get up and we can just say, Oblique, you're gonna run the start today without any thought of saying, but if Oblique run the start, we're gonna have a problem in the second leg, a problem on the third leg, or a problem on the fourth leg. Are we confident?
Because we would have diversified their relay ability, and that's where we need to get to the diversification of the legs, and not no one planting owning a particular leg, thinking that they don't know how to pass a baton, they can only receive and go, etc. Those are nonsensical, and we need to get them in a space where they have to go and deliver the goods.
Definitely. Again, in heat number one, we saw Canada. Listen, these four men for Canada has been together forever. Thank you so much for that comment, Sir George. George said Kishen can start. We did that with VCB and we won. Exactly. We have to go experiment. We have to go
That's
experiment.
the
We have
point
to
I'm making.
experiment for True Stone. We have to experiment, Sir George.
And I'm finally happy, Lati, that we are seeing some sort of shift, even though it's still not perfect. But we're seeing some sort of shift in the women's 4x1 as well, because there was a moment where we felt as though some persons on that team feel like if it's not anchored, then it's all over. Thank God maturity, and thank God, but in terms of the position of what is happening now, the level of dictatorship will no longer exist, because it can only exist when persons are actually dominating, and that's currently not so. So persons have to know, look at the greater effort for the team, and not try to
Want
want of
a
a,
better word?
n- say that they are trying to strong angle the team or to bully the team into getting the leg that they really want. Yeah, man, I'm liking what's happening, because we really need to experiment and to diversify the athlete's leg on these relays. You can't be a 200-meter runner and come and tell me that you can't run a curve. You can't be a 200-meter runner and tell me that you don't think you're gonna do good on the back straight away. The longest leg, it makes no sense. You just need to adapt, come to the party, and deliver the goods. Right? We just have to do that. Right now, the Americans don't necessarily do as we do in terms of trying to think that, oh, your fastest person must be your anchor, etc. Don't be surprised if the US decide to front load and go with a Melissa Jefferson. Shakari perhaps was placed an anchor to stay. They just might make the
Listen.
replacement and just switch out
Oh,
and
damn,
just add.
don't even go right there saying we should get to the females. Let us just complete the males with that. Because rightfully so, you speak about athletes not necessarily being the fastest have to go there. Let us use Canada as an example. As I rightfully said, Canada team has been together for decades. And something to note, the Canada team doesn't train in the same country. Canada is made up of Aaron Brown, Jerome Blake, Brendan Rodney, Andre DeGrasse. They ran a season best this morning, 37.85. We have seen Canada go at it. We have seen Canada. We know the caliber and we know what the damage Canada can do. I mean, Brendan Rodney trains in Jamaica. Aaron, Andre DeGrasse train
Right,
at US.
right.
They are from different
And their performance is not coming down to foot speed, it is coming down to synergy, chemistry, and organization.
the last time them win the 4x1, I remember Brandon Rodney said, listen me, all I needed to do was just to get the button to the next person. And I'm sure the button will go around. What confidence? What confidence? All I know I need to do is to get the button there. Because that's what we need to do. Get the button there, the next person will do their job. have the confidence that that will happen. Canada again do that, and a matter of fact, that is Canada team. Canada always run their team in the heats and and the finals. Because
But Lati, it's always the non-traditional countries that always try to let the chemistry work for them because they know they can't hang with the raw speed of the US and a country like Jamaica. Even when Italy were Olympic champions back in 2021, that was a similar thing that they did in terms of the chemistry. Jamaica need to find a way to put our athletes together to be a part of relay camps to ensure that they have various exchanges and the team effort and that they can gel. If we don't do that, we're going to keep on having this problem when we go to a world championship or at an Olympic Games and expect to just now do the do because we are now here to compete. It's not going to always work at all times. You know, it's similar like when you go to an exam, you just say, you know what, I'm brilliant, I'm not studying. It's not going to always work for everybody. You need to put in some work in order to get the best possible result, and Team Jamaica need to learn and
Jamaica
learn
had the
quickly.
Quinella, we're not into the finals. Blake wait for Blake because he's slowing down. Kishe needs to wait. Kishe needs to wait. Matter of fact, let us even face the fact. As Drew had said, the man did run out of his zone. So even if Kishe did wait, no, even if it is that the man did pass, would have maybe just basically still not in the finals. Um, United States in that heat came out with 37.98 for second, running Christian Coleman on the start leg, Ronnie Baker, Trayvon Bromwell, and T. Mars McCollum. And from looking on this, T. Mars McCollum will be moving from that ankle leg, in my viewpoint, and either be getting Kenny Benderick or Noah Lyles right there.
I think Bednarek is going back straight.
So therefore, Ronnie Baker moving out and I don't know. Well, US have persons to choose from, and they have the depth that they can do what they
Mhm.
chooses to do. So Chad said the Canadian team is exceptionally efficient, but they also have chemistry. They believe in each other's ability to get the job done. Perfect. No one thinks he is better than the shots fired right there.
Mhm.
But absolutely
Absolutely.
true. Ben says failure forces change. Success has its own seeds of destruction. Ben, you said failure forces change. So true. So
And it's
true.
correct.
Success has its own seeds of destruction, and Jamaica is a great example of that at this moment, for true. We saw the Germans coming through with a season best for third, and in 38.12, France in that same E 38.34. We saw Belgium with a national record of 38.46. Kenya in that with 38.56, Poland 38.58, and as we know, definitely again Jamaica. We never finish, we never have no chance, we never give ourselves an opportunity. But it is what it is. We're
You're
just
just
not
not there.
there. E number two was wide open at this moment based on things that happened in that heat. We saw Ghana coming through with a national record of 37.79. I said when Ghana finished the race, things that the finals just run, the way of them was happy, happy, happy for the national record. I tell you, very much happy. And I'm not bad mind seeing them celebrating, even though Jamaica didn't go there, but was really great seeing them celebrating. Netherlands came through with 37.95, Japan 38.07, Australia 38.21, China 38.38, Italy with Marcel Jacobs 38.52, coming in sixth right there. I mean, Marcel Jacobs, I don't had some issues right there. It seems as if Marcel Jacobs
And truth be told, he has not been in the same shape and the same sort of form
very
for a
much
couple
so.
of
But it
years
seems
now.
as if Marcus Jacobs slide, and therefore, in return, with doing that, we saw the hiccups with Masawangi from South Africa right there having issues and did not finish that race. And I feel like they are definitely going to have things to say about that as it relates to what will happen. Lizzie said J3 and the JOC is not investing in what is the best for the team. They use the money for their friends and family to travel to these championships. Sad. Lizzie, this one at this point in time, I don't agree with that. At this point in time, it comes down to athletes making themselves available for the training camps. I mean, J3 would have um prepare training camps to get these athletes into for these championships. Because we're talking about this championship at this time, and athletes didn't come to the training camp, didn't turn up, didn't show up. Athletes didn't make themselves available, and in the same right at the same time, the coaches that were appointed to deal with this aspect of it would have to work with what it is that they have. We heard Michael Freighter said, we wish that other athletes would have made themselves available and come to the training camps so that the pool.
And I so agree. And then Lati, sometimes you wonder, and it's not like to say that you are happy with what happened. We are by no means happy. We are not. We are disappointed that we didn't make the finals. But one of the things that sometimes, as we always say in Jamaica, is that God don't necessarily like ugly. And some persons don't make themselves available to qualify the national team to go to the championships. And when others do, and they replace the persons who would have qualified the team to get there with others, then sometimes results like these happen. It's just sad to say, but these are things that we also have to look at. We need our athletes to make themselves available, because when you go out there and you qualify, or you put yourself in a position to get your country to qualify, it's difficult also not to feel a little bit disappointed when you are being replaced. So we encourage our elite athletes to absolutely make themselves available once it is absolutely possible. And now there are going to be situations at times where you really can't do better, then that's fine. But there are some who shine away from the availability and then turns up at a world championship or at an Olympic. Okay, it's now time for the finals. I'm ready to
Yes,
now
I,
run for
I
Jamaica.
definitely do believe that we need to move away from that in terms of what it is that we basically see happening, and get ourselves into the right frame of mind and the right position to do what needs to be done necessarily. The currently at this moment for the men's 4 by 100 meters finals and the men's 4 by 4, there is no lineup in terms of who gets which lane, because we know that some reruns will happen and all of that. So that is what is currently happening. So kudos to the persons who have already gotten themselves into that finals, and we wait to see what will happen. And then definitely we saw the women's 4 by 100 meters happening to round out the women's relay. Whoa, mwah, 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 again. Now let us look at this women team in wrapping up. The women went into heat number one, and we had Jordine Williams, Tia Clayton to Tina. I think so? Tia Clayton to Tina Clayton.
It was Jodine Williams, Tia,
Yes,
Tina, and Janelle
right.
Smith.
Take me through your thought space of this.
Well, so for me, coming out of the blocks in terms of Jodine Williams, I think we did well in terms of the relative competition. I think she separated herself well, and Jamaica had a great start. I think it was an okay leg, and the baton was passed smoothly to Tia Clayton. She did her stuff down the back straight to her sister Tina Clayton and into Janelle Smith, and the team ran and acquitted themselves very well. And we still have some experience. We still have some more leg speed, not necessarily significant, more leg speed, but some changes to come. I think this was just a team that delivered in the prelims and is setting up ourselves nicely to get a medal in the final. I will not necessarily say what the color is because we are going to have some competition, but all in all, they did what they were expected to do, qualifying, and they did just that. So congrats to them, kudos to them. Well organized run by all of them. And for many persons who are wondering who is Tia, who is Tina, at this minute, Tia is a little lighter these days.
I knew that was what you're gonna say. I knew. JCF, I actually don't have the split. I didn't see the split. I was trying to look for it, but I didn't get it. But just to put a point in there, I must say, Jodine Williams, this has been one of your better legs that you have given unto us in a while. since it is that you have come up to being a part of the 4 by 100-meter team, because what a lot of persons don't know, I was schooled for this, that the first time Jodine Williams actually ran for us, down in that black, green, and gold 4 by 100 meters was when the first time we saw her run at Pens. And I did be right at Pens, and the Pens, they looked nice. And then we went into world, was it world relays, and she did poorly, poorly, and I beat her for that, not knowing that that was the first time. Given that opportunity, she called upon and she take it. But this leg for me this morning from her was a really good one. She represented herself well, and I must say kudos to you, Jodine. Well done. We know that things are going in your struggles, but you ran a good leg. Tia, for me this morning, was really, really a really good leg from her. Really good leg. I mean, we know that her legs are rested, but she did really fantastic well. And Tina, nonetheless, did what she needed to do. And I mean, Janet Smith had not much to do, but she held her composure and carried us through. And we came in with a good one, and they represented themselves perfectly well with a season best of 41.80. Looking at this team, as audience said, we have two ladies to come in, and therefore, for me, the shake-up of the team is just going to be we are bringing in Sharika Jackson to the start leg, and then Shelly and Fraser will go on that anchor leg. That's what I see basically on this, unless it is that. Um,
Same here. I don't think that they're going to try and match any more change, because that will actually, reduce synergy, and we don't want that to happen right now. So where the twins are placed in that particular order, I don't see or I don't foresee any change happening there. It's just the replacement of those
on the anchor
athletes
leg.
on the lead off and on the anchor leg respectively that we will see in the
Definitely, and
final.
especially because
I know for me personally, I think the lineup is okay. Yes, we are all fans of the sports and would love to, get a chance if we were like coaches, because all of us we play that game about, setting up the team that we would love to see, our dream team and our order and all of that. But nonetheless, Jamaica has done well. I think the ladies are ready to go, and all of that. Because for me, if it was for me though, I'd love to see Tina doing the customary backstretch. But guess what? What is good is that they're now setting up the entire team to learn how to run other legs, and I think that's what I am happy about.
definitely, I'm also happy about that too. And why it is that I say that's what the shake-up of the team will be, and is okay with that, is because hearing Sharika says she has not gotten an opportunity to also practice with the ladies since they have been there. We definitely wouldn't want to be experimenting at this point in time any other way but that way. And we saw the experiment with Sharika earlier in the season when she ran that lead off leg when it is that the MVP team was running, and I feel like that was an experiment to have happened. Douglas said that he have nothing to blame Kishane about. In his view, he's not blaming Kishane, he's blaming definitely then he will be blaming Ford. Spiritual Bless says she loves Sharika third leg for her, please. Sharika cannot run the third leg at this point in time and this championship, especially the fact that she has not done any relay practice. Um, so to put her there without relay practice with the guys and with the ladies, sorry, I wouldn't do that. Howard said I wouldn't even put Sharika.
I
Go
guess
ahead.
Lati, I guess one of the things in terms of being there, offering herself to be there in training with the team. The start leg suits her well, because when you're not present, you don't want an athlete to be handling the baton more than once. And we have to take that into account. So I think it's a good idea to have her lead off for a team this year. Into Tia Clayton, Tina, and then Shelly and Fraser Price go out with a bang. I think for Shelley, it is also an opportunity to just see her anchor in the team one final time. I think if it was any other year, she might not have been an anchor this time, considering her form. But I think it's just to say we appreciate you and we are sending you out in one fine style.
Completely agree. In that heat, we saw Spain coming through for second in 42.53 for that. Sharika can go start. can go the start leg again and let Shelly anchor. So that's what we're saying, Douglas. Based on how the setup of this team, the Heat team was, that's what we're saying. That more likely, in our viewpoint of our little thought space, maybe that's what will happen. Sherika has to start, even though she will have to contest with Melissa Jefferson. Someone said that Melissa told Sharp that she will be starting and Shakari will be anchoring. So I guess Sharika will be going up against Melissa, and then
I have no doubt that's what the US would have done, and I mentioned that earlier, Lati. Don't be surprised if the US go and front load the team. And saying front load, you would say, is TT Terry a front loader? Let me tell you what people forget about Tanisha Terry. Tanisha Terry is like a USA Aileen Bailey, not necessarily the person that will give you a medal or get a spot in a final, but once you place a baton in that hand, she can be a monster on the leg that she's placed, and that's why the Americans will want to start with a Melissa Jefferson at 10-6 to 1, equal to how the US expect like a Tiana Bartaletta back then to give them that of a lead. So we have to go out there, and ensure that our middle legs. So we're depending on the twins now in the middle to ensure that we crawl back, because the US are going to be off to a good start. And we have to admit that. But what we need to do is to run two great middle legs to ensure that we are in it, because Shelly and Shakari, there's not much of a difference there in both of them. Should the baton be in Fraser Price hand first or Shakari hand right there on the boat, and that will be a race to the line.
possibly it would be then a Melissa Jefferson to Tia to TT Terry to Kayla White to Shakari, or have Melissa Jefferson to TT to Jenna Prandini, because I saw them with Jenna Prandini also. We wait to see what it is that US will use then. In heat number two, Spain came through for second, 42-53. France for third, 42-71. Netherlands again came through for fourth, 43-62. Chile 44-07. Italy for six, 49-41. Australia did not finish, and Belgium was disqualified from that. Then we went on to heat number two, where we saw the United States came back and said, hey, we're lead for us 41-60 using Laceria Sears to start. So definitely Melissa Jefferson will come there. We already have a TT Terry, Tanisha Terry on the second leg at that point in time. Kayla White for the third leg, and Shakari
And the
Richardson.
mere
So
fact that
therefore,
and the mere fact that the US would have anchored with Shakari in the heat, they're not gonna want to change much. Most persons they are already where they will run in the final, safe and except for those who will be replaced.
so maybe it's possible that maybe it's just going to be the Sarah series that may be replaced right there on that lead off leg, leaving TT Terry,
Correct,
leaving
correct. And if
and
it's
Kayla
and if it's
White.
two change, it's the other curve. If it's two change, it's them simple replacing Kayla White with Prandini. And the US has a
With
way of
Brandini.
also and the US have a way of also saying sometimes that because it's not just about the raw speed, a good 200-meter athlete at the top of the curve could also be an option.
Could also be an option. Germany coming through with a season best of 41-86. Lupen Kemper for me was a really good one to watch. Lupen
Hmm.
Kemper run down Daryl Nita neatly and so gently, smiling like a Adele Tracy coming down that stretch there. So it really looked nice. It was really good seeing her anchoring the German team, doing what she knows how to do. 41-86 for a season best. Great Britain 41-88 with Dina Asher Smith, Edouan, Desiree Henry, and Daryl Nita. I definitely Great Britain will be bringing in the 200-meter silver medalist in Amy Hunt
Amy on.
somewhere along that line. I think maybe Desiree Henry may either Desiree Henry or Edouan will be coming out and putting Amy Hunt there. Even though for me, I feel like it would have been better to have Darren Nita on one of the curves and Amy Hunt on the ankle leg. But then again,
I
I'm
would
not
agree
Great
with you.
Britain.
I would
I
agree with
felt
you on
like
that one.
and definitely I would also say Lupen Kemper wouldn't have clipped Amy Hunt if Amy Hunt was anchoring this one. But then again, they are in with the third qualifier. Canada was for fourth with 42-38 for a national record. Poland was fifth, 42-83 for a season best. Republic of China 42.94 for a season best for six. Then we have Cote d'Ivoire. Really, really sad to see Cote d'Ivoire go out like that, 44.64. They actually did not run Marie Jose Talou Smith in this one. And I'm not saying it's because they didn't run or why they didn't come anywhere better, but that was what they got. Switzerland got disqualified from that. So definitely, I mean, the 4 by 100 meters for women is also going to be a great one and a fantastic one to definitely watch tomorrow morning. Great things in store. We have the 4 by 1 and the 4 by 4 to come to round out and to end Tokyo so that some of us can go and get some sleep.
Platty, we have to be realistic. If the leader of leg with Sharika and Melissa Jefferson is a reflection of the 100-meter final, it means that we could be trailing by 2/10 of a second from the very first leg. If you were to go by and look at a 10.61 and a 10.88, you would see that lead early. My question is, how will Tia handle her
TT
backstretch
Terry.
to close on a TT Terry? Because sometimes the momentum, and that's what front loading sometimes can do. And I trust and hope that our team is fully focused. They're not thrown off by the early pressure because we have to admit it will come early because the US is setting up themselves to perhaps give Shakari the anchor in a position of lead. But we just need to run 4 decent legs to be in contention. And as I said before, a medal is what we are going for. Yes, we want to win the gold medal. We all want to win the gold medal, but we can't pretend as though it's going to be a showing because Great Britain have.
Because Great Britain have good going there. We were asking, someone was asking for the splits for the women 4 by 100 meters, and therefore we have 11:33 for the lead off leg, 10:32 for Tia, 10:11 for Tina, and 10:04 for Jonna Smith there. That's what we would have gotten for that which happened. So definitely we know that the 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 times will definitely be great coming out of what it is that we saw in this first round. Douglas says we can't look at how they ran the 100 meter. Look at how they both of them ran the first 100 of the 200 meters. That too, US lead off leg this morning. Just here says gave us 11:25. Oh, we got to me. TT Terry on 986, then 10:35, and then 10:14. No, we this is going to be really, really a good matchup. We spoke about TT Terry earlier about 986 is what they have TT Terry running for for that second leg. But we are appreciative of you being here with us. Again, we thank you so much for joining us. Tune in tomorrow when we will do our recap on the final day, and we'll also do bring you the post show of when we bring in everything about Tokyo and what it is that happened in Tokyo, how it is that we face in Tokyo. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are grateful for that. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you all, wherever it is that you join us from. We are grateful for you being here with us. Remember that if it is that you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also remember to follow us on our Facebook page, where we will be bringing you more updates and greater things to come for what it is that is happening in track and field. We thank you so much. Have yourself a wonderful day.